welcome to the premiere of Season 2, Riding Through the Unknown.
Hi.
I'm your host, Michael. Hello.
How are you, Michael?
I'm good. How are you, Priscilla?
I'm great. Really good. Happy to be here.
I could tell watching the intro that you were like,
really
oh,
your intro is amazing. It's amazing. Sorry.
No, actually, that is the first time I've aired that, and it was done by my cousin.
Yeah.
He is amazing with videos.
Absolutely.
And ads.
Yeah, really. Like, he's the one that did your countdown also, right? Before that you had?
He did the intro and outro I had before.
Yeah.
And the countdown, yes, I found that online.
Okay.
And I loved it with my other show. And I said to him this time, I said, you know, these are two different shows. I really don't feel like that countdown's fitting this show. Can you find me one that does? And when he showed me that one, I was like, that was cool.
Yeah, really. Like, I was really like watching it and I was like amazed. Yeah, there's something in it that really like triggered, well, not triggered in a bad way, but really like, ignited me when you write the Anunnaki and with the image that you put there, right?
Right.
Can you just like tell me why you put that image with the Anunnaki? Or
actually that was all Tyler, my cousin.
Wow.
He
okay.
I gave him topics and my image.
Is he awakened? Like,
you know, I don't really know because I haven't really had a chance to talk to him about it, but I know. So how I found him was his mom was selling product that's called sprinkles, stuff that you melt to make fragrance.
Okay.
And he created a scent, and I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden I watched this little like video ad of the sprinkle, and I was like, that was pretty cool. And then I was like, hey, cuz, do you do intros and outros? He's like, yeah.
Wow.
So I just send him images and like subject matter, and he put that together for the first season. And this time I said to him, you know, I want to branch it out some and add some stuff to it. But then when he came back to me with this one, I was like, I don't want to change it because it's just like too cool with the moving images.
Yeah, I know. I was like, because I'm asking this because if I may, I'm gonna start with that, okay, and then we can go on with whatever you want. We have so much that we could talk about, but I want to say this because I had a vision maybe 2 years ago, okay, and I mean, the beings that he put with the Anunnaki, it was kind of like that, what I saw, right? And when I looked it up, it was like seraphim, or like, yeah, I think it's seraphim, or, yeah, and the Samael, because all the eyes together, like with the checkered, like diamond checkered grid and all the eyes in it, that's Samael, okay? He's in the 7th heaven, supposedly, as the scripture goes, and I didn't know that at the time. I had no idea. I just known this not too long ago. And when I had the vision, it was really, really intense. Like, I was like, I couldn't move. Like, I was outside, okay, and all of a sudden I started hearing like super extended, okay, and I started seeing all this grid and all the eyes, and then all of a sudden I was like in quantum field, like I was in nothing. I was just levitating in nothingness. And that being the one that was on the intro, which is like more like an eye with not a clock, but a mechanism around it, kind of,
Right.
Yeah. So, and that being, he was fiery and everything. And I was like, hey, yo, you need to chill. If you want to talk to me, you need to relax, And it relaxed. and it shifted. And anyways, so after when I realized it was Samael, I was like, oh my goodness, okay. And yeah, everything is like linking up lately with Anunnaki and the fallen angels and the real narrative of that. What does that mean? Like, who are we uh, in relation to that and everything? So I thought that was really like stunning to me. That you know,
Wow, that's really cool. And now I'm like curious to go back and rewatch it to see.
yeah.
What? Which one are you talking about? Because
Well, it's like if you write, let's say you go on Google and you put seraphim angel, it's going to be these depictions, you know, of the angel beings with the eyes. You know, it's just like eyes, right?
Right.
Yeah. So they have a few. They have one with the mechanism. They have one that's like, well, you can go and check it out. But I mean, I thought that it was really, it stunned me, you know, like that it was linked to the Anunnaki. So I was curious, you know.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that because the image I had actually for Anunnaki was the one where he's laying down in the coffin waiting to be awakened.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But I'm saying this in the sense that you know, these beings and us also, we have different aspects, right? We have different expressions of our stream, you know, our downstream. So let's say we start at source and we go down. So it goes down to the principalities, let's say, that create the realm here. And, you know, goes down to maybe archangels and whatever, you know, it's like hierarchy kind of thing, you know? So I don't know. You'd have to look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have some more homework to do.
Always. It's good.
It is.
It's never ending, really, you know.
And so what's kind of funny too about, you know, having this episode was we have talked, as you pointed out, daily we talk, and one of the questions always was, so what do you want to talk about? We can talk about this. We can talk about that. It was like the show has ever been shifting. And it was funny how one day we were talking and you were like, so what are you looking for? And I was like, you know, everyone keeps talking about Tartaria. And I can't find anyone to talk about that. And your response just cracked me up. You're like, let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm ready. I adore that topic. That's amazing. Right.
So for people who aren't familiar with Tartaria and why it's such a big topic right now, can you kind of give a short synopsis to bring everyone into the fold?
Sure. Well, there's like two narratives, of course. There's the mainstream Tartaria that's gonna, you know, people are gonna think the Tartar empire, you know, with the Mongols and everything. I'm not saying it's not linked, you know, but that's not really what we're talking about. The aspect of the word Tartaria in the sense of Tartarian culture, you know, technology, and the architecture. Okay, like the architecture is the first thing that I noticed with the Tartarian narrative. There's buildings, a lot of buildings, and you can look it up on internet, you know, everyone. The architecture that some of our buildings demonstrate, we're not able to do this. Like, we're not anywhere close of doing this. I'm not talking about like the pyramids and megalithic structures necessarily, just like regular buildings that accordingly to when you understand a little bit how that goes, when the Europeans, when they got here, these buildings, they were here already, you know. And when you start looking into it, you notice, and they make you notice, like the first things that they make you notice is going to be like, okay, there's these amazing, crazy buildings with people that seem really like clueless, and with shovels, and the ground, you know, there's no roads, it's all on dirt. So there's dirt roads, and people with you know, like that seem really like random people that, you know, like low class people more, you know, and that would be working in industries and stuff like that, not wealthy people. So this is it just doesn't add up, and there's a lot of different places we could go with that, but on a more earthly basis, that's the first thing that you're going to start noticing. And when you look into it, and then there's like all the orphans, you know, all the orphan trains that came. And so, you know, what we could say is that the people that were there before with these buildings, who built the buildings, you know, they kind of got killed, or they went away or something. And there's the mud floods, you know, with even in cities here that they dig down and they see that there was other buildings down into the ground. So that's so with you know, the Tartarian narrative. But what's really, really amazing about that is the technology. You're going to see all these buildings and like Chateau de Versailles and all these places, all the fireplaces, they don't have chimneys, right? And there's no bathroom. And it's like, you know, there's stuff that's like, it's not like they were living like us. It was different. And there's pictures that you can see of late 1800s, beginning of the 1900s, that like in Russia, there's the world fairs and stuff like that. You can see a lot of the technologies that were available at that time, you know, and they were there. So something happened, you know, and it's like when you look on the larger scale of the resets, you know, like there's the big resets and there's the smaller resets, which would be like the mud floods and stuff like that. So yeah.
So where do you think they came from? Do you think they were like the Anunnaki and visitors from space, or do you think they're in inner Earth and they left the colony because it was getting too dangerous on the surface?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, there's never just one thing that happened, I believe, and because when you were asking the question, I was kind of looking, you know, through the field and everything for the information that I can pick up on the question. First of all, these beings, they were larger than us, you know, maybe not all of them, but some of them were really taller, and like that too, you can look up. There's a lot of pictures of the giants and a lot of bones anyways that got dug and everything. But yeah, some of them went probably like inner Earth, you know, and if they came from space, I mean, that's like, to me, okay, I'm going to go with my own information when I answer questions like that, because to me, everything is like a frequency-based realities. So space to us, the final frontier. To us humans, space is empty, right? Like we don't see anything in it, and it's like very hard to understand. But on another frequency, if you go a little bit higher in the octaves, I believe that the navigation through the realms is really easier. The manipulation of the elements, and you know, like in the New Age, they say masters of light. You know, well, a master of light is someone that can literally create with the light coming in. You know, like the light, the photons that become particles, that become things. So, inner Earth realms, they're accessible through frequency shift. You know, it's not like anyone can just. I guess they have like entrances, pods, and stuff. I don't know exactly, because there's like the Admiral Byrd narrative, you know, that is very third dimensional and everything. So I'm not saying that it's not like that at all, but I believe that there might be different realms in the inner Earth construct. You know, like here, kind of. You know, like what happened in Florida, the grays that got seen by people, right? Because the frequency is shifting right now. on Earth, right? We're being bombarded by the sun, and the sun is literally activating the DNA. It's like the scientists, our mainstream scientists, if they want to do hybridization with, I think they do it with the salamander and frogs. Okay, well, they use the molecules to whatever they do and to activate and make it alive and change and shift. It's with gamma rays, right? So yeah, so right now we're our DNA is shifting with it. You know, I'm not saying that it's going to shift like that at all, but that's what I got from my, you know, looking into the situation a little bit. That's what happened, you know, because they're always there. The other right. beings and the other frequencies, they're with us. Everything is together. It's just that we don't see them.
So I'm kind of curious because I've seen videos where they show like the Tartarians had wheels and vehicles that were way advanced from us, and everything was free energy. They were all about the free energy.
Of course.
And I'm wondering, because Nikola Tesla, being from Europe, did he go to Tartaria, learn, and bring it back here, or...
That's a good question, but I don't think he went with his body, you know. He was channeling it. That's how he explained it. If he went, maybe he went, you know, but I don't think that he would have remembered it necessarily. Hey, Christy. Hello, darling. Thank you. Yeah, so because then he would have leaked the information, right? He couldn't. So, well, not leaking the information, but it's like, I think that for all of us that are experiencing stuff that are important and that are to affect the collective, that's why we're not remembering everything, you know, because it's easy for us to slip, right?
Yeah, I was just curious because it's like, it's interesting to me when you study Tesla and everybody says, where did this, you know, where did your understanding originate from? He said, in the fields of electricity.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, well, where on earth do we have fields of electricity?
Everywhere.
And I'm like, and my mind goes, wait a minute, we have materia, which is free energy. Could they have, doing what they were doing, generated fields of electricity? And that's what he saw. And
for sure, he's connected to the consciousness and the information. For sure. That's not a doubt to me. You know, like it's like he was very brave, you know, like to do that, because it's not something that, you know, he probably knew that he would get into trouble, right? Like at the end of his life and everything. So, but yeah,
I mean, sure. And I mean, his famous experiment, the one that I think is his most famous experiment that just is in Oz, where he had the light bulbs on the ground and just touched them and they all lit up. And they're like, what are these plugged into? And he goes, nothing.
Right? Ooh, they don't want that.
I know. It's like, we look at that and we're like, how did we go from that to needing to plug stuff in? And they erased it from us so well.
Our higher selves are desperate right now. Like, we're more and more embodying them. So we're like so in dissonance with this place. I'm like, oh my God, you know, because it's okay, I guess, in a way, right? Because we're going to be the ones that, you know, all together to bring change, right? To bring back the things that, you know, we want. They are good for us. They're not okay here right now, right? So yeah. And the more we tap into it, or the more we're able to, you know, be that higher aspect of us, of ourselves, you know, our wise selves, you know, if you want to put it like that. Yeah, it's frustrating, but.
And I can't help but look at like the secret space programs now and thinking, you know, when we have vehicles now that hover, act like UFOs,
Yeah.
and I read about Tartaria, I'm like, I can't help but think, did some of the engineers go there, bring back information they stole, and have been utilizing it there, and that's why we have the craft capabilities and the med beds and everything.
Yeah, probably that they have meetings, you know, or maybe it's them that come, but they're talking, or it's literally just connecting to their aspects of themselves that is there, you know, because it's like what I said in the beginning, we have more than one avatar, if you want, you know, like really. And people talk about ascension and everything. Well, ascension is that literally it's being able to be aware of your other selves and navigate through them. I don't know to what degree, you know, we're going to be able to do that. But let's say, you know, like we're talking and you can think about another situation and remember it and see it in your head and almost like live it at the same time that we're talking, right? So that's two realities. So I guess that the more that we expand our conscious awareness, then it can come like four realities maybe. Because me, when I do like the sessions and stuff like that, often I have like 3-4 things that I see at the same time. Like it's like not TVs, literally. It's a way of putting it maybe, because then people think that you literally see screens like in nothing, but it's not like that. It's just like when you're thinking of something, right? And you can see it in your head.
Well, right.
So what I'm coming to is that the consciousness that the people like us, we have a lot more of our stream of information that's in us, you know, like if that makes sense. Let's say we're wires, you know, we're like electrical wires, while some have the big ones behind the stove, you know, like we're the big ones and the others are normal ones, you know, because we bring in more electricity, but more information, data, and comprehension and everything to do what we're doing, right? So I think that they're communicating for sure, you know. And my crafts that I have here, I'm pretty sure that they're not from outside this realm. They're probably like inner Earth.
I was just going to say, because our awareness of Tartaria is growing, I've noticed more and more people coming forward and saying, yeah, I've seen UFOs in the skies.
Yeah.
And I can't help wondering if somehow being aware of the one makes you aware of the other.
For sure. It's a collapsing thing, you know, like it's like, yeah, because it's like the 100th monkey effect, right? One sees one and then the other and then everybody, and then it's like it's a thing, right? Now it's like everybody knows aliens exist now. And yeah, and it's just going to be, you know, we're touching each other with our, nothing's separating us really through the air, you know. We have the atoms and the air that's all touching each other. So it's like in a bath with balls, you know. If you touch one ball, all the balls are going to move. It's not as fast as that or as, you know, but kind of. So yeah, for sure. And these people, inner Earth, let's stick to the inner Earth ones. They're like also in different types of people there in different realms and different, I'm not saying it's all the you know, giants of Tartaria. I'm not saying anything is just one thing. This is very, very multi-layered and multi-dimensional, and you know, like in the Hermetic teachings, you know, they say all is mind is the first principle. So, and or when you say the double slit experiment, that it's really like the observer that's gonna determine the outcome. So we are really the ones that are together kind of creating the reality, you know. Nothing's set in stone.
Which is interesting because our history is slowly being rewritten, as they say, But to me, I feel it's the exact opposite. Is our history is correcting itself, and we're becoming aware of the real history.
Oh, there's the Mandela effect. That's what you're talking about, right?
Those
no.
and like having like Egyptian glyphs here in America. Well, Egyptians in ancient times were told never came to America, but yet we find their pyramids, we find their writing, the Phoenicians, we find their stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, if they were never here, why is this here?
You have a good point there. It's really a good connection that you just put out there, because when there was the Anunnaki wars, you know, they spread out, right? And you know how they say Enki would be like a seafaring, you know, a sea peoples, you know, like Poseidon, no, I don't know, say it in English. Poseidon, yeah. And the tribe of Dan, you know, all these things are kind of linked to the Druids and the wise ones that came, that the Aztec talk about, and the Mayans, you know, they talk about the bearded, you know, people that came and everything. So it's really very, very linked. And the tribe of Dan is linked to that's crazy because I watched it yesterday, to like the narrative of like the Druids, but also the the Hyperboreans. I'm just trying to choose my words, you know, and the bloodlines, you know, that would be the serpent, you know, and everything is not what it seems. And people, y'all, what they show you on internet about whatever, if it's really always there and they just show it, come on, you need to understand that this is like they're accepting the narrative. So it's like going with their thing. So I'm not saying it's not true what they're saying at all, but I'm just saying that everybody needs to be very mindful and very you know, decipher with their hearts and their own thing without going with what other people are telling them, because war is on. There's a lot of people are compromised. You know?
It is.
Who you working for?
It depends on the day.
I get super paranoid. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, this ain't right. This is weird. Why is this happening? Because, you know, we're like experiencers, right? So we're like always looking and trying to understand what's going on. So everything's like sketchy lately.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because being who we are, it's like when you say who you're working for, it's like whoever's programmed me right now.
Yeah, exactly. Whichever one's like streaming in me right now, like I shift too. We all shift, so it's a thing. It's a thing we do.
But I'm also finding it interesting that as history's rewriting itself and becoming aware of things, like I was watching a program about Hitler's inner circle, and I learned things about his inner circle. Being a history major, studying.
That's what I wanted to say earlier, and I was like, oh, I'm choosing my words.
It's like facts that we were told never actually happened. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is what's going on. And it's like, and I look at the channel and I'm like, this isn't a mainstream channel. Never heard of this channel. And so I'm like, is this the real truth, or, you know, what's going on? And unfortunately, that's the world we live in now, to where we can't trust any narrative really. Crazy. Because everything has been construed. Everything is being told to fit a narrative. And so it's like, you know,
follow the money. Right? Because Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible because, you know, you start waking up and then you're like, okay, so these people, they seem okay. The light community, and you're like, okay, cool, that's amazing. And then you're all into it. I don't know if you went through the, you know,
Oh yeah.
new age, you know, ping pang boom ping boom. And then you're like, oh, okay, that's not it. And then you're like, so it's just, that's what I was saying, it's like ongoing, because it's never what another person's going to tell you. It's really like a collective but very individual thing. And it's not because we're seeing it a certain way that the others are wrong necessarily. It's their creation, you know. This is so multidimensional, much more than we can grasp at this moment, at this moment, you know. So like even crazy stuff, like even like, let's say you do something on your phone, like a banking thing or whatever, and then you look and it's not done, or they're like sending you the email super, like it's, everything is like incoherent a little bit. It's like, it's not, it's fitting hard, you know, like I don't know how to say that really, but the matrix is like, you know, having problems.
It is, and I was noticing, talking about phones, the other day I was messaging someone and I misspelled a word, and so on it hit the back button.
Mm-hmm.
It was like increasing the letters, and I
Yeah.
was like, wait, how is the back button now putting letters into the
Possessed.
phone?
Yeah, the phones
And
are
then
possessed. Yeah.
it hits a certain point, and then it's like, wait, and then it starts backing everything up, and I was like, okay, now we're back to normal.
I know. And the more we kind of see it and we're like okay with it, I guess, you know, the more we're gonna see. I think it's kind of like that, you know, because, you know, it's a process.
So I'm wondering too, talking about the frequencies and everything, do you ever follow the Schumann resonance?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Can you explain what the Schumann resonance is for those who have no idea what we're talking about?
Mm-hmm. Well, everything emanates like okay, let's say when you open your freezer, or when it's cold outside and you open the door, you see like a difference in you know, it makes like smoke a little bit, right? So you see
Right.
like you see like okay, so let's say you could see that all the time, right? All that exists emanates a frequency like that. It's like we're emanating like sound, kind of, you know. It's sound, or it's vibrations, or it's like let's say you yeah, how can I put it?
Like a harmonic resonance?
Yeah, of course, but even that harmonic resonance, people don't know what it means, right? I'm just trying to find something that they can, you know, relate to. Let's say a vibration, something that you're gonna, like a sofa that you're gonna have different, you know, 1, 2, 3 to make it vibrate more or less. Okay, let's put it like that.
Music, the music on the radio.
Yeah, music can be the sound of the if it's loud or not loud,
like
or something.
The bass effect.
Mm-hmm. Anything that you can, you know, get. So the earth has a normal frequency, a normal shaking kind of thing, you know. And lately it's been off the charts. Like the frequency is really going higher and for longer periods. And yeah, it has to do also with the dimensions, you know, like what I was saying earlier with us shifting and everything. I think that over 40 hertz, it's like the fifth dimension, you know, like not dimension, density. Sorry, there's really a difference with dimensions and densities.
Right.
You know, like a density is what I'm saying, like the frequency thing, and the dimensions. I think there's different dimensions with different densities in them. Okay, so I don't know if people can understand that in that way.
You could say the body
Realities.
cell we have here is third density.
Yeah.
Whereas our abilities to see like spirits or other things.
Yeah, they're in the other realm. Yeah. But I like to compare that. That's an easy one for me because I always talk about that one. It's like water. We're like water, right? But you compare it to water because water can be ice, it can be water, and it can be vapor and air if you want, you know. But I mean, so it's the same molecule, but it's under different parameters. Okay, different pressure, different whatever. So it changes the molecule. So I always tell my kids, like, if you see something, they're the same as you. They ain't got nothing on you. You have a body and they don't, and that's it. You know, so there's nothing.
They got nothing on you. You got the body.
Yeah, and I'm like, if you're scared, just scream and run into it. You know, like they're gonna be like, oh, this one's not a good one. I don't go scare someone else. You know, like you know, because imagine you're a ghost, right? And then you want to scare people, or you don't even know you're a ghost, maybe, or whatever. It's all different. And you get one that's really scared, so you're like, oh yeah, you know, I was bored. I'm gonna have fun tonight. You know, like, so I always tell my kids, I'm like, you need to not, you know, take it so seriously, okay? Like this is not. It's a perspective, and we've been taught, you know, that it's scary and stuff, but you know, it's not. We're the bosses here on Earth, the humans. The realm is ours, you know. So it's like,
yeah, we're taking it back.
It's our dominion. When the in the Bible, that's what it says. You know, this is the land of the humans, the men. It's not the land of no one else.
I like the land of no one else.
Well, because it's too long to name everything. So like, it's ours, you know?
I was thinking more along the lines of nobody wants to come and hang out with us.
Because we're crazy? Oh.
They've learned that lesson. They're like, yeah, go visit them. They'll shoot you down.
Oh, right?
You're never going to leave that place.
Imagine getting to a planet and you're like, oh, these ones, they have nukes. Oh, pointed at themselves. Okay.
Or better yet, be like,
that's crazy.
Like float in and go, now son, that's a tree. And that's a missile coming at us. We're not going to be able to miss now. And so, son, we are going to forever be here now, thanks to your class trip.
Oh, my goodness, right? Close the doors of the ship. We're passing Earth. No, I'm joking. You know? But I mean, this place here to me is like an interdimensional highway. You know, a lot of, it's like a base place. And again, for the people that are flat earthers or round earthers or whatever, I mean, again, it's in our perspective and we create the reality, right? But to me, it's really like realms, like a grape, like a raisin, you know, like grapes, right? Grape. That's how you call it? Yeah. It's like linked with the stargates, right? And then, and it's like, so I'm not even sure. Well, maybe some. I'm not saying that it's like, because you know, but to me, the space travel is through the stargates. To me, you know, right. Yeah. But again, it's a question of density and everything. You know, like the realities are different for many of us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I'm kind of curious because you mentioned the light ships that come and visit you. Mm-hmm. How do you get them to show up, or do they just show up and they just like you'll get a sense and going, oh, they're here, time to go outside and take a look?
Yeah, sometimes I really feel it, like I have to go, like I really want to go, and I see them in my windows, and I'm like, hold on, I'm doing dishes, I'll be right there, you know. Right?
I gotta get those dishes done.
Like, hold on, y'all.
Dishes, UFO, light ship. Dishes, light ship.
Yeah, but they're here all the time. So it's not like, you know, one thing. I know they're gonna wait for me, or they're gonna, you know, if they're there and it's clear nights and they're a lot, I mean, they're gonna be there, right? When I feel that I need to go, usually I'm gonna drop what I'm doing, you know, and I'm gonna go. But yeah, and also usually they're always there. Lately, they've been less there, so I think that they're busy. Like lately, they're up to something. I don't know what. I haven't been debriefed, y'all. I tell them that I'm like, hey, I wasn't invited at the debrief because I don't know, like, what's going on. You know? Yeah, I wish I would, but I kind of do though, but not in details and the dates and everything, you know.
Yeah, and It's kind of funny how you describe it as a highway, because when I'm like in the zone, like I can feel my other aspects, like I don't know how to say it, like being like unified, I guess, in thought.
Mm-hmm.
I can see above where it's like where we think it's empty, and I'm like, man, that thing is so crowded up there. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you can't make a move without making sure somebody else ain't there.
Well, it's not. Yeah, the navigation systems, I guess, are very different. You know, they have their own pathways. You know, like it's kind of like yeah, you know, I don't think there's accidents really, you know, happening. Maybe, but not in that way. But yeah, the crafts, you know, there's different types of crafts, but the ones that are with me, I know that they see through my eyes. Like, you know, like if I'm looking for them, well, they're gonna pop in, you know. Like not all the time, not all the time, not lately because they're busy, like, you know. But if I saw them or something and then I'm looking for them, they're gonna pop in, boom, 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 you know. So they just like materialize instantly out of nothing. So that's why I'm saying they have their own coordinates to, you know, travel through their, I don't know how it works. Maybe I'm just like, because I was kind of picking up on it. I think it's like maybe factions, you know, like we have these coordinates and we use these uh, highways kind of thing, you know, they're ours, you know, like let's say, I don't know, Pleiadians or whatever, you know, I'm not saying it's like that, but, and the other ones are going to be using these ones. So it's like if they kind of meet each other or whatever, it would be like the same people or the same frequency of type of beings, you know? So it's like, yeah.
Right. Like
And
the
there's,
Alliance highways versus
I guess, yeah.
the
And there must be
Cabal
like,
highways.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like the clandestine ones, the illegal ones, right?
Yeah, it's kind of funny when we, you think about that, but it's like, yeah, we have everybody, doesn't realize it's like how what happens above affects here.
Mm-hmm.
And that saying as above, so below
So
doesn't
much.
mean like heaven and hell. It's more, I think, of saying as we close the secret or underground highways in space, they're cut off down here, and so they are in turn, being
Yeah,
shut down.
I
And it's
understand what
like,
you're saying though. It's like, let's say it's a mirror image,
right,
then what would be happening there affects the projection here, you know, because we're there too, as we are here, as we are in Earth and everything, you know, so everything is like connected. And that's a way of seeing it, right? Through the
right,
maybe fourth density kind of thing, you know. But on a higher perspective, also, it's like, you know, the spiral of creation. We're all spiraling up the spiral, right? We're all going back, you know, we're all moving together. So as we're evolving, the others behind us are evolving and everybody's following kind of thing. So that's, it's like everybody's in a different spot and everybody's picking up on different information because we're not all at the same place. Because let's say we're all emanating from the universal mind, the first being or whatever that created what we can understand. Well, it's all, everything is that, is, you know, so it's the perspective of everything, the good, the bad, and everything in between is its stream, you know, it's going back to that universal mind. That's crazy,
right.
right? When you think about it.
It
So
is, and
who are we fighting? We're fighting ourselves.
we are. And one of the things too that I find interesting, like perspective wise, is we were raised to think we're in the Milky Way galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was a couple of times when I was growing up as like a teenager I would look up into the sky and I'd see this long stretch of space and there were stars. And I would say to somebody, what is that? And they go, well, that's the Milky Way.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, wait a minute. If we're in the Milky Way, how can I see it going straight across the sky? If we're in it, I would only be able to see one way and then the other way by turning. I couldn't stand there and see it straight
That's
across.
really, you have good.
Yeah. Wait a minute, we're not in the Milky Way, are we?
Oh man.
All
is not what it seems. Yeah, all is not what it seems at all.
The scary part though of realizing that is there is no name then for what galaxy we're in, because
but is it really important, the name at that point? Like, we like to tag everything and like, but
I don't know if it's necessarily tagging, like,
identifying, to categorize. Can you say that word for me?
Categorize.
Thank you. Categorize, everything so that we're like able to understand and navigate it, right? But
to call home, it's like, if I was to say to someone Milky Way, okay, yeah, I know where that is.
But that's our name that we give it to.
I'm the one that's, I can look up and see the Milky Way. I don't know what that is. Can you take me there? They're like, where?
Well, first of all, it doesn't mean that to them, the ones that you would be speaking to, that they would call it the Milky Way, right? That's our name for it. So that's why I'm saying, the name is super important. And but I understand what you're saying. And I mean, maybe you would see it like that, and we're just like a part of it we don't see the rest or something, I don't know exactly what your perspective was of it, exactly for me to tell you about what your question, but we're learning more and more. And I think that as we're evolving through it, everything is going to really shift into our understanding of what is what and why it's that, and what it is to us and whatever. Because,
Yeah, and I mean, it's just amazing to me how, we're average height, maybe 6 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Average person. Some can be 5, some maybe 7.
Yeah, between 5 and 6, yeah.
But when you talk about, like, I've heard of creatures that are 8 feet tall roaming around, or like
what kind of creatures?
Well, they're called cryptids in the paranormal.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's what I was kind of seeing that you were talking about, but I wasn't sure.
And the Tartarians being like, they're saying 8 to 10 feet tall. Nephilim being really tall. The Anunnakis, these talls. How is it with being such modern times that they're still, theoretically out there? Are we not seeing them? It's like, I can't help but think, even if I don't believe it, seeing someone standing in front of me being 8 feet, 9 feet tall, my disbelief is going to have to go out the window because standing right there in front of me.
Yeah. Well, I think that, first of all, we're not growing properly because of all the chemicals and everything, and everything. So that's one part of why we're not as tall as them, maybe as the Tartarians, because we're really like, we're like cockroaches to be still alive, right? Because it's crazy. Everything that we're bombarded with, the food, everything, all your products, your shampoo and everything, all of it is there to hurt you. Anything. So, and like what we were saying earlier about the frequency, the frequency probably permits a different type of growth or a different type of, and it's a matter of perception. Yeah, you're right. sweet one. Yeah. Thank you. I'm happy you're there.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really because us, the ones that are able to see, it's because we're vibrating closer to those beings. You know, that's why we can perceive them, and also the whole collective and everything with the solar flares. But yeah, you know, it's never just one thing. It's very complex.
I'm kind of curious because a lot of shows have been deemed coming out of Hollywood lately as disclosure. Some of them, like Stargate, that show where they show the chair when you had to have a specific gene to activate the chair.
Oh, for sure.
And
Absolutely.
I'm wondering a little bit beyond that is it not necessarily the gene, but being through the programs,
Yeah, it's our DNA.
Like if we were to step onto, say, the ruins of our Tartarian building, would it come to life because we're there?
The free energy? The free energy?
And
well, I'm not sure about the buildings that are still here and everything because we're not like in the right frequency in the air and everything. You know, there's something with that. You know, the grids and everything. It's something. It's not just the persons that will activate that free energy, but I can say for sure, 100%, that like some technology, stargates, the chair, you know, like the arcs that they're talking about and everything, inner Earth access. That's our frequency, our DNA, our yeah, it's like codes, right? It's like we have the keys. For sure.
And I kind of wonder too, and I don't like how, you know, it's like using like television shows as the disclosure, but it's the closest reference we have. I think of where they're putting the idea into our heads is like Doctor Who. You know, the show was on, it did great, they took it off the air, and then what happens is they bring it back, and how does it affect the world? The whole world is now all of a sudden like, hey, there's alien races out there. Oh, hey, there's know, there are enemies. There's this battle, that battle, and it's like, and I can't help but go in my mind going, you know, that was on an episode of Doctor Who. Maybe a season or two ago, but it's here, and you know, it's like, are they really like using those type of shows to train us to be like, look, you don't have, you can be human and travel the stars, travel through space.
Yeah, it's all disclosure, really. And it's both, really, because it's disclosure and it's also there for the ones that are gonna say, well, no, man, you saw that in a movie. Like, what are you saying? You know, like for counter action also. You know, there's always the two sides of the coin in this realm because it's a very it's like that here. It's how do you say that? Dualistic. Yeah. So everything has multiple aspects of it. But, you know, if I'm thinking, let's say, why would they accept to put the movie out? Well, they think that maybe it's going to have both effects, you know, or it's just like they're throwing it there and watching what's going to happen, right? Like when you throw something in a corral? No, how do you say it? Is it a corral?
Yeah, corral.
Yeah. And check what they're gonna do with it, right?
And I view like how they're using it weaponized, like we have Project Bluebeam coming out.
Mm.
And the idea of it, from what I've understood, is they're going to project ships, make it look like an invasion, and cause mass hysteria. Well, what has been prominent coming out lately? You got Star Trek coming back out. You got Star Wars coming back out. You got all these things that says, hey, even though these ships are out there, we still have the ability to overcome and, you know, survive or thrive. And it's like, I can't help but think, you know, is this, you know, has Hollywood been somewhat taken over by what we call the white hats? And they're sitting there saying, okay, we know your playbook. We know you're going to use this. We're going to now show you this so that when this happens, you're going to be like, yeah, so there's a fleet of ships up there. We totally can take them.
Yeah.
We ain't worried.
More and more, the humans were, you know, it's kind of a grooming thing in many ways. And it's free will here. So we never know exactly how the humans are going to react, right? So they're checking.
I can't help too but think, you know, Trump with all his connections to stuff around Tesla and everything.
That's what I was going to say earlier too. I wanted to say Trump. It's funny.
The creation of Space Force is like, you know, it was amazing because it's like 1 minute we're sitting there going, yeah, we need to do this. And then the next minute we're told, hey, we have a Space Force.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, when did we build the stuff? And it was like his way of saying, we're out there, guys. We're in space. We're not defenseless against any shit that comes here. And I can't help but, you know, think too, was that his way of saying to the world, yeah, we may have Project Bluebeam coming, but we're prepared for it. We're not going to be caught in the dark and being like blindsided and going, oh, whoops.
Did you see that thing? It's like a lightning in the sky, and there's like this huge like being, like a man.
I did see that.
I was like, what is that? Oh my God. You know, because everything is holographic here. That's what people need to understand. Baseline, it's a hologram. We're in a hologram. You know, it's very, very hard for us to understand this because our life is very, very real, right? Yeah, well, you know, if it wasn't so real, it wouldn't work or something. Like, this is not like, you know, anything that we can even grasp. So,
and the first time I saw that clip, I thought there was a guy walking in front of a searchlight. Because it's like you don't see the legs, you just see the upper half. And I'm like, but I'm sitting there thinking too, when I looked at it again, going, wait a minute, this is like almost the full height of the screen.
It was like,
how big is that searchlight in that person to cast that shadow? And it was like, wait a minute, no, that was something else.
Yeah. And Rob sent me a video the other day, and it's like the lights are literally glitching. Like they open the lights of the sky, close the lights of the sky, open the lights, close light, and then it goes dark. And you hear everyone like, oh my God, everybody's tripping. Whoop. Are you flipping the switch again, guys? You know? Oh, yeah. So people are going to, you know, it depends on everybody, really, how the collective experience will be. But individually, it's really like shifting accordingly to our own journey, you know, through it.
It is. And it's kind of funny that I just, as we're talking about this, look, and I was like, oh, we actually are at the 1 hour mark.
Oh, nice.
And so we can end here, or if you have another subject you want to talk about real quick, if you have time.
It's good. We can do another show another time if you want.
Yeah,
I'll be happy to come back.
Wow, I learned so much. I'm so glad we talked and We
I'm
just
glad
kind
too.
of went with the flow because I was like,
Yep. I always have something to say.
no, and it's great too to put a face to the words that we see on the screen.
Absolutely. It's amazing.
But thank you for coming on and trusting me with the show.
I'm really happy I came. It was amazing.
Yes, and we'll have to have you back on.
Yeah. Anytime.
All right, and thank you to Christy, Rob,
Yeah,
and
thanks,
came
guys.
in.
We love you. I love you.
Oh, I love them too. I love everybody that supports everybody, and
no, but I really love them like a lot. You know, like it's not.
And you know, one of the things I like to say, you know, in the paranormal community, we're trying to revitalize a phrase called para-unity, which is where we're trying to bring investigators, teams, and ideas into a community where it's shared freely. And
yeah, we have to work together. You know, we have to. Yeah.
And I was gonna say one of the things that the reason why it's like I love people like Rob and everybody is I'm new with this disclosure, esoterics and stuff, and he's been doing it more, and others have been doing it more, or have guests that I would love to have on my show, and we freely talk amongst each other and are like, hey, you know, what topic are you looking for? Oh, go talk to this person, or this person. And it's like...
That's so true, though.
Yeah, the information's free-flowing, and
yeah.
I love that.
Lately, we've been a little bit more, like, teamed up. That's true, though. Thank you for telling me. Because, you know, like, sometimes I'm complaining, and I'm like, why aren't we all, like, doing something together? Like, you know, like anything, y'all, like something to not to do a show, to work, to change around, like do our job, like kind of thing, you know, like come on. So that's really amazing that you're saying that and making me notice that, yeah, we're communicating more and we're going to get there eventually.
Yeah, and some of us, I think, are there, and it's just we're kind of like in the old days, they would call them, like, when I say old days, I'm meaning back like pre-Sumeria, where it was like the way showers.
Yeah, of course we're way showers. We are.
Yeah, it's like, oh, if you want that colony, you gotta go that way, not that way.
We are the way showers, though, you know? Like, yes, all my life I thought I was not right. Like I was weird and I was wrong. And no. I'm perfect. Not perfect and perfect. But I mean, the way I go about things is good, you know, and it's here that things are not okay. So we have to stand strong in our ways.
And while we're talking, and I was meaning to and getting ready to close down, I had a question pop in my head. If you have chance, if when we talked about the Schumann resonance and how the planet is having its own vibrational quakes and reactions to us, how do we protect ourselves from it and learn to balance and not be overwhelmed?
That's a very good question. Well, first of all, I mean, the most important thing to me is like the grounding and the breath work and connecting through, because here it's like it's matter, right? So we have to not just like meditate, but also apply a physical practice. Breath work is really good. And, you know, grounding outside, but also grounding through your consciousness. But you can do that at the same time. Like me, I always mix up things. Like I do some Qigong and I'm going to do the grounding with my pillar of light at the same time, you know, when I'm doing that, and the breath work and everything. And it's like, it's not like you're going to meditate one time and it's going to be okay. It's an ongoing thing. We have to learn to do this all the time kind of thing. Right. So that helps. And I don't think that if we're doing it properly and we're careful with what we eat, you know, and try and drink and stuff like that, and we do little things, I don't think that the sun is going to hurt us, you know.
What about our like four-leggeds and animals that we have around us, because I know it affects them too.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think that our field, we can, that's more like on the esoteric, subliminal part, unless your dog's with you and stretching and stuff. I'm joking. But yeah, of course you can't have him do that. But on the you know, spiritual or metaphysical aspect, I believe that if you're creating your shield, you know, like with your breath, you create your shield. I think we did it together, right? So, you
Right.
know, like with your breath, you just imagine, you know, it's really imagination with creation, and it makes it real as more, the more you do it, right? But if you encompass with your animal and you link to him with your energy centers, with your chakras and stuff, you know, I think that he's going to follow you through your vibrational ascension, you know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think
We affect a lot.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people that are listening to this that follow it and are like going, "Oh my God, we're in a blackout on the Schumann.
Nah,
Oh my God, we need to prepare."
we
Or
got this.
now in turn going to go, "Okay, we're in a blackout. Let's just take a deep breath."
Yeah, because if we would all know this, yeah, we would change the realm right away. Like if we would all connect and be, oh, I'm having crazy chills. Like, and connect and have the same kind of channel, you know, like the same image in our heads, the same frequency, the same movie in our heads, kind of, we would create it, like literally. So it's getting there. We have to stop thinking about the how do you call it, end of the world kind of narrative. That's not what I wanted to say, but you know what I mean, like the doom or gloom kind of thing.
Right.
Because that's for the third dimensional narrative. We're here to transcend that and change the program, and you know, change the rules or whatever, you know.
Yeah. You could almost say the fear or flight mode
Of course.
dealing with it, because you can either be afraid of it or
Well,
fly it or ride the wave of it.
yeah, well, fear can be good as a drive, you know, because your fear is gonna make you like want to act on it, but it's not like being scared and being a wussy about it. It's like being scared. You have the fear, and you're like, okay, what am I gonna do about it? So then you do something that you can do. You know,
as I like to tell people, as long as you can have the fear and it, you know, is a good tool, but when you let the fear control you,
yeah, exactly.
and it's no longer a tool,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a detriment.
Yeah, it makes you act stupid. Yeah. When I mean not being fearful in a way that you want to hide or something. Just like acknowledging the situation, that it's can be either that or that, and then how you're gonna go about it more.
Right.
Yeah, like, you know, because
It's a way to put it. It would be is it's like the fear of the little child who puts his hand on the hot oven.
mm-hmm.
Or the hot stove. I mean, not hot oven.
No, I understand.
Unless he's really tall.
Yeah, I understand what you mean, though. Yeah.
You know, he puts his hand on it, burns. He's not going to do it again. He's still afraid of it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm at choice. I can either put my hand on it and burn again and be like, okay, I'm really slow learner, or can say, hey, wait a minute, I remember what happened last time I did this.
Yeah.
I ain't doing this again.
Yeah, well, sometimes people just don't know that there's another way of looking at it. You know, like you don't even know that you can see it another way. Like you think it's that, just that. So nothing is just one thing. Everything is like a question, like Rob said, it's perspective. And when you see it differently, then you can, you know, deal with it differently with other tools, also with other comprehensive tools.
Yeah. So, and I think that's a great place to leave
absolutely
this episode behind, and we will definitely have you back on for in future episodes.
Whatever I can do to help.
I appreciate you. I'm grateful for having you on.
Thank you.
And for everyone out there who's watching this, have a great night, great day, great afternoon. Make it a blessed one. And good night from us here at Riding Through the Unknown.
Bye, everyone. Be strong.